Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loaf and Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone number is 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loaf and Dog won't give you diabetes.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395. If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
The voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio. Welcome to the Her Show, Home Experience Radio, with your host, Trina Titus Lozano. This is a live call-in show that takes your calls and questions about marriage, family, and personal relationships. She's a licensed and ordained pastoral counselor, author, international conference speaker, wife, mom, and grandmother. She's been counseling and teaching vital relationship skills for over 30 years. Trina is real and relational and reveals strong truths spoken in tough love and common sense. Join us on the studio line now at 817-637-2585. And now, here's Trina.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Her Show. I am Trina Titus Lozano, pastoral counselor, licensed and ordained Christian minister. And I am not alone today. I am here with Jan Johnson. Jan, are you here?
Hey, Trina, how are you?
Oh, I'm so good to be with you today. All right, girl, this is a very special occasion.
It sure is, Trina. I can't wait.
This is the day that I am announcing a new beginning for the Her Show, a new beginning for Home Experience Radio, a new beginning for Home Experience Ministry, and it's going to be incredible. My mom laid such a great foundation for this ministry 20 years ago, and I have been doing the radio show for 4 years, and now I'm transitioning into a podcast, and you are going to be doing it with me.
I sure am. And Trina, this is just not only a dream come true, but it's just a fulfilling of a calling. And, to match up not only your passion, but, what you love to do and then just share biblical truths and just enlighten people. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. And I'm just so honored to join you on this venture.
Well, you have got a lot of experience, and I just want to be sure that the audience can hear me. Diana, can you hear me? Because I feel like I'm in an echo and I'm not hearing myself very well. So I just want to be sure that you can hear me because for some reason it doesn't quite sound right to me. But anyway, so I've had a wonderful time here at JoCo for the past couple of years, and just gonna finish strong here, and I'm so grateful to Tiffany and Diana and Nona and just everyone here at JoCo. It's a great radio station, and I love Burleson, Texas. Burleson is absolutely incredible, and it's been wonderful to be here, and I'm just delighted. I'm absolutely delighted. Thank you, Diana, for checking on everything. And so, Jan, as we move into this next season of the home experience, we are going to be overseeing and launching groups all throughout the United States and all throughout the world. Our home experience book is currently in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And so we are continuing these languages, and I have a great vision to increase the languages that we are able to reach people in many different nations. And I know that God's going to continue to do this, and I'm very excited about it. And in addition to that being my vision, I'm going to be expanding home experience, which currently is just inviting women into our homes to mentor them in making their home a place of love and peace. We're going to also invite couples into our homes and mentor them how to make their home a place of love and peace. And after they attend an intensive, then what they do is they typically want to take the material, the information, and the experience that they've had, and then take it into their own home, invite people into their own home, and then continue teaching and offering and being an example so that others can do the same. And this is what has happened over the last 20 years. There's been what my mom called a revolution of revelation. And so this revelation of the importance of the home and raising the standard of the dignity and sanctity of the home. My mom was inspired 20 years ago by a book written by Edward Gibbon. And he said, when he wrote The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, and he was talking about great civilizations that had withered and died, the number one reason why great civilizations wither and die, for example, the Roman Empire, is because of the undermining of the home. And so we certainly have seen this in our nation, and we've seen it all around the world, not where only just a divorce rate has continued to increase, but even the people not even choosing to get married, not having children, having less and less children, and just the value of the home, where people are more disconnected at home, not even having family meals around their table anymore. And there's such a disconnect where at this point, it is more common for people to busy themselves, families to busy themselves outside the home. And they're just coming home to change clothes, do a little bit of laundry, not necessarily even take the time to fold it and put it away, but just this quick turnaround, shower, grab a bite to eat, run out of the house again, or maybe not even grab a bite to eat, just shower, change clothes, maybe catch a quick night's sleep, watch a little TV, scroll through your social media, but then disconnect is really what is the more common experience in people's homes. And what we want to do with the home experience is teach people how and encourage people to and inspire them to and give them the tools to show them the example of how to reconnect with the people in their home, reconnect with their families, connect with their friends and their neighbors, and build this reconnection through eating meals at the table, through just having an atmosphere of being cozy and comfortable and welcomed, and an atmosphere of fun at home. And everybody wants it, Jan, but people don't know how to do it. So You and I are going to be showing them these things in a practical way, and it's going to be wonderful to be working together doing this. Tell our listeners about your experience.
Oh, absolutely. So it's really one of those things that as a little girl, I was raised in a pastor's home. And oftentimes when you're a pastor's kid, as you know, Trina, the parents or the pastor and his wife will invite people over to the home, and the children are kind of sent off to go play or do. Well, from an early age, I learned how to serve others by watching my mom. I would sit in the kitchen and just watch how she would take something simple and make it look lavish. She took what she had and made the people feel welcome. Well, I would often go into my room and I loved doll houses, and I had like 6 or 7 doll houses, and I would take an old dress and cut it up, and sometimes I'd even take a new dress and cut it up, and my mom would be horrified. And I'd make curtains, or I'd take shopping bags or gift bags and make wallpaper, from my doll houses. And I would set up and I'd have little neighborhood get togethers with my dolls outside these doll houses. So it was ingrained in me on an early age. And I know it was a gift that God gave me for hospitality. And then later, when I got, older in my years and got married and married to a pastor and got to experience all that, I also found the love of just making your home inviting and welcoming people in. It doesn't have to be a glamorous home by all means, but just making someone feel welcome when they come into the home. And so take all of that, my experience of how I was raised, very similar to you, Trina, and actually, my mom got to teach Mansion on Turtle Creek in Dallas how to do a tea party. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
And so, and I remember, I think I was all of 19 or 20, and I came and watched her do that. And I just saw the amazement on people's faces that they go, how do we do that? Well, fast forward now, I'm looking at this generation of my girls' age. We have 3 daughters. And many of their friends have no clue about simple hospitality, even down to ironing a shirt or how to sew on a button. And they often ask them, well, how do you get to do that? Well, it's because my mom showed me how to do that. And there's so many that have lost that or have not been given that. And it's no fault of their moms at all. What it is it's a generation that just seems to have kind of put it on the back burner. Our world changed, and now everything is so instant. I mean, you can even order your meals pre-made. Okay, great. Invite some people over to those meals that you have pre-ordered or get. And trust me, I go and use some of those meals as well. I don't cook from scratch and have an apron and flour on my face all day. I'm a busy businesswoman, but it's what you do with what you have, and making the atmosphere in your home one where people feel welcome, just the way it is. Just the way it is.
That's right. And I think the importance of actually sitting at the table with our
Yes.
phones in the other room, our phones
Yep.
turned off, sitting at the table so that we can have that eye-to-eye, face-to-face conversation. And there's no TV on, there's no screens on, maybe a little background music that provides some atmosphere, but it creates an atmosphere where we can have conversation.
Yeah. We had a fun situation one time, Trina, and this was just probably one of the funnest evenings of dinner that we have. And of course, we have a busy home with my husband in ministry, and at the time, the girls were off in college or, busy in sports. And they all came home, and I said, okay, tonight we're having dinner around the table. And that was something that was very, and still is very important to me. So everybody got their plate or, served themselves up and, sat down in their typical seats where they always sit, same seat every time. And my husband, who is as goofy as whatever, he said, okay, girls, get up. And they're like, Dad, what's going on? And he said, okay, you're sitting here and you're sitting here. And they're like, they were just complaining. And, oh, Dad, what are you doing? And when we all sat down, all of us, including myself, we started grumbling like, okay, this is awkward. He said, now act like the person who normally sits in that seat. Trina, it was the funnest dinner because they were going, I don't eat like that. I don't talk like that. And it caused us to have conversation about self-awareness. And so there's so much that you can do around the table, from having intimate conversations to playing cards to just being available to listen. I find myself now with my kids all grown and we being empty nesters that if they come to the house and I'm at the table, they'll pull up a chair, Trina, and just come and sit down.
Yes, they just want to hear. They want to hear
Yes.
you. Yes. Yes.
have that conversation and maybe some cookies or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Yeah,
something.
or what's the latest thing now that they love? Some kind of acai bowl. Oh my word. They introduced me to that around the table, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually becoming a cool mom.
You know, you and I, we have grown up in church. What we have in common is that our dads were pastors and our moms were very hospitable. And
Yeah,
so as a result, we had the privilege of meeting so many people. And we had meals with our family and with our friends, but oftentimes with people that we had never met before, and sometimes some very important people, whether it
yeah,
be politicians or something, just people that were very well known, and they were just having dinner with us. And I remember sitting there sometimes thinking, wow, this is so special to be having dinner
mhm,
in our house with some very special people. And my brother and I recall the best memories of meeting new people around our table. But we were trained. We were trained how to behave. We were trained with table manners. We were trained with the ability to have a conversation. And this is a place where kids can be trained. And this is what's happening in our world today when children are not eating at their table, when they're eating disconnected from their family, and when households don't invite others over, then the kids don't ever have an opportunity to learn how to have good manners, to learn to have
right,
good manners and to have good conversation, or to learn to eat with, with your mouth, chew with your mouth closed, so that the guests will understand that you're really honoring them by not being so messy and so sloppy and so casual. But the
right,
the mealtime has become so sloppy and so casual, where there's just if there's any food, it's just maybe takeout containers on the counter, or maybe a pot of something in the crock pot. Everybody serves themselves and sits and eats by themselves, eats at different times, or maybe sits in front of the TV, and or even takes their food to their room, but they're missing out on the connection. And when my
yeah,
mom began to do the research in 2022 is when she really got deep into it. 20 years ago, she began doing this research of the importance of eating together around the table with this eye to eye, face to face conversation, so that when you do this, this is what creates the family connection. This is what brings the security to the children and the security to the family bond. And even when you're having fun, like things that your husband did, but this is
yeah,
the time where there's a bond created and an ability to open your heart to other people when you're inviting them in with this attitude of hospitality. And this, when a child grows up with this environment, the same way that you and I did, this gives them the best chance to not be addicted, to not be self harming, to
yeah,
not have pregnancy out of wedlock, to not struggle in school. So, this family foundation of stability by eating family meals at the table, and then even inviting guests in to join you at the table, that
right,
takes it
right,
up a notch. This is what creates the foundation for this child's stability for their entire life. So you can't
yeah,
just skip over this and expect that they will just somehow someday figure all this out. No, they've got to practice at home. They've got to learn this at home. This is critical. This prepares them for dating. This prepares them for maybe
sure,
job
sure,
interviews. This prepares them because who knows what opportunity they might have or you might have in the future to dine with very important people at the White House, or who
yeah,
knows what setting that you just might be invited to go to someday, and you want to know how to handle yourself. Maybe at a banquet. I know I attend many banquets every year that are fundraising banquets and fundraising opportunities. So little things like, oh, what fork do I use? What napkin is
yeah,
mine? What coffee cup is mine? And we know this. You and I know this because we learned it at home from the time we were
Right,
children.
right.
And so we were never caught off guard in situations because we were taught, our parents taught us, we know it was all, it was all part of what our moms decided
Sure.
that they needed to do to prepare us and to include us in the experience of having family meals at the table.
One of the things my mom, and I remember it vividly, and I was around 13, she said, okay, we're going to start training you how to be a lady at a table. And I'm like, I'm probably sitting all awkwardly or whatever. And I was pretty athletic back in my younger days. You wouldn't know it now to see me, but I was. And she's like, let's learn how to be a lady at the table. So, again, I kind of begrudgingly, and that's probably where my girls got it from. I was like, okay, whatever. And she said this, Trina, she said, eating at a table can help you practice to be present.
Oh, that's powerful.
And I'm like, what does that mean to be present? And it wasn't until I got older that I realized you can pick up on conversations with your kids. They may talk, how was your day? Fine. How was work? Okay. They answer with one word. But sometimes if they're just at that table, it's kind of like driving in the car with your kids. You just have the music on and they're carpooling, or you're a carpooling mom. It's amazing what you hear. But eating around the table will help you to practice being present in the conversation, present with listening, um, developing those listening skills. I know I learned how to interview by at the table. We would have guests that would come over and they would ask me questions about myself. And so I learned how to tell my story short and brief, or answer questions succinctly, listen to their question, not just hear it, but listen to their question. And so when she told me that, I didn't understand it at 13, but as I got older, it's amazing how you can be present at a table. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, my kids are grown, or I have littles and all they're doing is throwing, SpaghettiOs across the room, that's fine. You will come through this at some point. But next time you go to a wedding, try this. You're sitting at a table mainly with all strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Just be present and listen and pick up on key things that people are talking about. And of course, be cautious not to be one of those people that says, oh yeah, I've done that. Then all of a sudden you become a star attraction and everybody will get up and go to the dance floor or whatever. But just be present. And, it's sometimes at weddings that you find out, they go, oh, is that my knife or your knife? And you can say, oh, let me show you. I had a mom. And even if you didn't have that, glean and learn from others, because I guarantee, and especially as we get this word out, Trina, and it goes from home to home to home, no, you don't have to have an upbringing like Trina and I had. But we're here to help you. We're going to guide you and walk you through this, through the podcast and through home experience intensives. And you'll hear more about this as we get into the podcast, and as you will see different things that we were launching. You just have to be you. And I think this is probably the biggest thing. Did you know that the word hospitality is just more than simple hospitality? It's more than a well-set table or a spotless house. Hospitality is the atmosphere of welcoming with an open heart. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so I would just encourage people, wherever you are, at whatever age or stage of your.
Well, I lost you. Now I didn't hear what you said. Wherever
Yeah.
you are. Okay. You cut off for just a second. But that's right. And you hear the similarity in the word hospitality and hospital, right?
Yeah.
And when we are hospitable to our family and our friends and our neighbors and even strangers at times, it provides an opportunity for their hearts to be healed. And we live in a crooked and cruel world, and we don't even know what our children might have gone through that day, or what our husband may have gone through that day. And when we are welcoming them and we prepare for our friends and family to come into our home with an attitude of, yes, this welcoming, open heart attitude, this attitude and this value of serving, this is provides what a hospital would provide. It provides an atmosphere of healing.
Well, that's good, Trina. That's good.
An atmosphere of healing. And it can't happen if you have a bad attitude about it. Okay. So it's really all about the attitude. In my mom's book, she wrote hospitality is a value of serving. And then she used 1 Peter 4:9, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling, So, and I think that's so important because when you're preparing for guests, oftentimes people can get so worked up, especially the wife or the mother, the person who is going to be the hostess can get so worked up about things being perfect that there begins to be all this complaining and kind of freaking out. Hurry up, do this, do that, do this, do that, and I don't have this and I don't have that, but when we do it with this attitude of serving and we're not complaining and we're not grumbling and we're not yelling at everybody quick before the company gets there, then that kind of messes up the whole thing. So I think what has helped me over the years is I put this on the calendar and I will invite guests over frequently. And when my 4 children were young and the house was full of toys and messes because kids are noisy and messy, I would invite someone over for lunch or for a play date or whatever. And they would come to my house and say, "How do you keep your house so tidy? I don't know how you do it with 4 kids." And I would say, if you invited someone over to your house, I bet your house would be picked up before they got there, And so I would actually give myself incentive because I needed the incentive. I needed to know that at least for the 1 hour that the house was going to be picked up, that I would have a girlfriend that might come over and notice or something. And right before my husband would come home from work, I would say, "Quick, let's get the house picked up again so we could be ready for Dad to come home," and there would be an atmosphere of peace again. But you have to do that over and over and over again. And I just always wanted to give myself incentive. But I just want to give some practical tips, and you can just join in. Okay, so fun fact is Jan and her husband were guests of ours. They drove up from San Antonio and were in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here with my husband and I over the weekend. So they spent the weekend with us, the first time that they have ever done that before. So they were overnight guests this weekend, and I really look forward to you coming. So before you got there, I was cleaning your bathroom and vacuuming the floors and getting ready. And I'd had a full work day, of course, but I did it with so much joy and enthusiasm. I was really, really looking forward to you coming. So there was a few things that you might have noticed that I did to make your stay a little bit more special.
I do.
I cleaned your room. So
it was lovely.
So
and
you
there was
came.
a beautifully folded towel.
There you
with
go.
Another one that had a flower and it had some little travel size things, which was perfect because I forgot mine. It was so welcoming.
Yes, and that way you just know the sheets are clean, the towels are clean. Here's where you'll sleep. Here's where you will shower, and here's everything that you need. And then I usually set a little basket of snacks and water bottles and a welcome note. Anything to make your guests feel welcome because you want them to return. And then also I now will write a note that lets them know the instructions for the internet, because everyone will need to know what is the Wi-Fi code. And so I always include that in their welcome note. A couple of other tips when you invite guests over to your home: once you prepare your heart and you prepare where they're going to stay, and if you don't have a guest room, then you can do what my parents always did. They moved me to the floor, they moved me to the couch, and the guests took my room. But the neat thing that my mom always did and my dad always did, they greeted people at the door. There was
There you
never a
go.
just come on in, we're here. No, they would greet people at the door. And if they saw them drive up, they would open the door and walk out to the car and help them carry things in. Jan, stick with me after the break and let's continue to encourage our listeners to open their own homes. Okay?
All right. I look
Okay.
forward to it.
I'll be right back after the break. I'm Trina, and we will be right back talking with Jan and hospitality. Stay with us.
Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices, so simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. So reach out to your Texas sales rep, 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. And also, we are sponsored by the Tiffy. So go to thetiffy.com. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. All right. Well, back to the Her Show Home Experience Radio. I am Trina, Titus Lozano, your host, and the guest today that is with me, my very special guest, Jan Johnson, is here with me today to talk about hospitality and also the future of the home experience. So thank you, Jan, for being with me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Trina. It's so much fun always just to dream and vision and have a vision with you, but then actually to see it come to reality. It's really exciting.
It's really exciting. 4 years ago, I had a dream many years ago to be on radio. And 4 years ago, I began on KWRD, and my mom said, you must call Jan Johnson and she can help you out. And so I did, and you recorded the intro for my very first show. And I did that show for a couple of years. And so your voice was always there with me, even when you weren't. But now you will actually be in the studio with me as we record our future show, podcast. And we are developing that now. And Jan is going to be the vice president of the home experience. I'm the president, taking this over from my mom. She really laid an amazing foundation. So her ceiling is my floor, and I am just going to build on the foundation that she began 20 years ago. She and I worked together in some capacity the whole entire 20 years, and then I worked together with her, co-writing the book and co-hosting the intensives 7 years ago. So it was a great season of serving and working with my mom. And so now my mom made her way, changed her address, as my grandma says, changed her address, and she moved on to heaven. And so she and Jesus, I suppose, are preparing a table for us to join them there someday. But we are going to continue the ministry of the home experience and continue training women globally to connect and to to give them the opportunity, I should say, to connect with us and training them to make their home a place of love and peace. So, Jan, thank you for accepting the opportunity to be the vice president. And I guess this is the public announcement of that.
Ta-da! It is, oh, Trina, it is just amazing. And honestly, we don't really need to look at titles. I think our titles are that we're just willing. We're willing vessels. You're vessel number one and I'm vessel number two.
Exactly.
I just love the fact that, you know, you probably carry sweet tea and I'm probably lemonade, but you know what? It when you mix lemonade and tea together, it makes what they call an Arnold Palmer, which everybody loves. And so, you know, we're just going to bring our giftedness and just our passion. I will bring to the table my love for design. And I have a degree in interior design, and I currently work in the home remodeling industry. And it's so neat to bring how your home looks. And you don't have to have it coming out of Southern Living magazine to be welcoming, but I'm going to bring that unique aspect to what we're doing. And I think the most exciting one, and Trina, you so got to talk about it, is we're getting our husbands involved in this too.
Yes, I'm so excited. My husband and I are so grateful for our marriage, and our marriage was on the brink of divorce 20 years ago in 2002, actually, when the home experience was launching. And we love working together and helping couples make their home a place of love and peace. And the foundation is their relationship with Christ and their commitment in their marriage. And you and Phil have the same commitment. You celebrated 40 years married last year, and we are celebrating 40 years married in May. So together we have 80 years of marriage experience. I think we can pass this on to couples pretty well. And you know what, Jan? People are desperate to know, what did you do and how did you do it? And, you know, life does not have to be perfect to be wonderful. And with all the trials and the ins and outs, I say when life gets lifey, lifey, and you and I shared a lot this weekend, and you and I have been through a lot. And so have our listeners. And life gets lifey. That is what life is about. And as my grandma would say, that's life. And it is. And it does not have to be perfect to be wonderful. But we are going to continue to encourage women, inspire them, and give them the tools to do the best with what they have, and to bless their family and their friends with the gift of their home. The gift of my home, your home. And it doesn't have to be big, but wherever you live, that's where you live. And that's where your home is. And so we're going to help women and give them the tools to make that the best. And design is a big part of that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Cooking and home organization and design and vital relationship skills and biblical principles. And all of these things are part of the home experience curriculum, including table settings and etiquette and that type of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And who doesn't like either? Now, when you think about it, do you ever watch a Hallmark movie or one of the Hallmark shows and just kind of look at the setting that they have? It's always very warm and inviting. And of course, we all know the storylines. They're all the same. But hey, that's okay. We still love to watch them. But then, have you ever gotten inspired by watching either DIY or Magnolia Network or HGTV or even the cooking show, and you think, if I just knew how to do that? Well, you know what? You can. You can simply set up your home, set up your table, even make it as simple as opening up your front door to let your neighbors, maybe in some parts of the country, you may need to have a screen door on to keep that AC or the heat in, but to be able to let the door open. Have you ever just thought their door is always closed, but if you had a screen door and you left your door open, that says, hey, come on in. We'd love to visit.
That's right.
And there'll be just some practical tips that we'll come out with how to even do a block party to start opening up that door and inviting people to come over, or just simply opening up to say, hey, I'm here. I'm here.
I love that idea. Let's plan it. Let's plan a block party. I have not hosted a block party in this neighborhood yet. I
Oh, you need
haven't.
to,
I
Trina. Oh,
haven't.
it's so
I
fun. And
know.
it is so easy.
I know. I'm going to. I just haven't put it on the calendar. It does. It begins with your desire, and then the next practical step is put it on the calendar, schedule it, and then invite people. And then once you've invited people, you have a couple weeks to prepare. And I always like to invite people 2 to 4 weeks in advance. And then once they're invited, then you have time to prepare and figure it out, at that point.
Oh, it is. We have in our neighborhood where we're at, they're more established homes, and it's great because they're larger and we've got the big trees, and it's not like a brand new neighborhood that there's nothing. And it's almost we're watching a transition, which just makes me giddy because when we first got to the neighborhood, we were the youngest family and we had littles, and most of the homeowners were older. Well, those homeowners now are dying off and they're selling, or their families are selling their home. So younger families are coming in. Well, now we're the older family of the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And it's so cool because they all seem to gravitate over, and whether or not they think like I'm a rentable grandmother or something, the kids know I always have snacks or something that they can come in. And it's just fun just to be able to reach out. And we've started reaching out to these young couples to just say, hey, come over. Well, many of them are just moving into their homes and they don't have all of the furniture or the pieces. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Your home is so welcoming. And I tell them, and I hope I can say this on radio, but I have champagne taste on a beer budget.
There you
And
go.
I tell them
Oh,
where I
yeah.
can go to Ross and how you can find the exact same thing. And there's even a Google search that you can do. You take a picture of something lovely and put it in there, and you can find it cheap. There's all kinds of ways of things that you can do. And it's just opening up your home. We do block parties once a quarter now, and all of these young families come, and it's getting them to meet each other, and they're making new friends in new neighborhoods. It's so fun.
Okay, so what do you serve at your block party? And is it indoors or outdoors? Tell me a
So we
little
do it
more.
outdoors.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
we
your
always
front
do it
yard type
outdoors. The
thing?
very first one, we got one of those really big pots, and we did it's kind of like a shrimp boil, but it was sausage and potatoes and corn.
Okay.
And Phil just hooked it up to his butane, whatever thing, and heated it up. And everybody else brought a side dish. I just put a little flyer that was on our community mailboxes and said, we're having this, whatever you call it, shrimp boil, and come and bring a side and bring a lawn chair. And then the next time we did it, we did a chili cook-off. And so we said, okay, chili cook-off contest. And we got kind of one of the senior people in our neighborhood to come and judge the chili. And our neighbors, they ran a movie for the kids in their driveway to watch it on the garage. And we did the chili cook-off, and it was just so fun. And then
Oh,
we all
that's
gathered
fun.
together for trick or treat, where the kids can come, and we shut off the street and we put bales of hay, and we're allowed to do that in our community. And everybody brings food and the kids just run back and forth. It's just become so fun. And through all of that, they've got to meet new friends, have new friends, but then they've also discovered, we've had several times 8 o'clock at night a knock on the door. And it's one of those younger couples saying, hey, we're just having a hard time and we just came to you for advice.
Ah, that's
And we
nice.
just feel so humbled that they would do that.
Of course. Well, hey, you're the older couple now. So,
Oh, I know. Come on in, honey.
it,
We're about to go to bed.
it reminds me of a favorite book and chapter of the Bible, Titus chapter 2, which talks about the older teaching the younger, the older men and women teaching the younger men and women how to love each other, how to be keepers of their home, how to honor each other, and how to love their children. And so this is God's sovereign design that the older teach the younger. And so we want to encourage others. And no matter how old you are, there's somebody younger than you. You're older than somebody, and there's somebody younger than you, and there's somebody older than you. So we want to learn from older people. I learned from my grandmother still. She's turning 100 this year, and she's still teaching me how to do some things that she did. She used to bake pies in advance, keep them in the freezer, and then she would take the pie out of the freezer on a Sunday morning and have it in a very, very extremely low heat oven. And then by the time church was over, the pie would be come out of the oven just warm and perfect. But she
Oh,
kept those frozen pies in the oven at all in the freezer at all times so that she could spontaneously invite people over for pie after church. And just things like that. We can constantly learn. But I just wanted to give a few more tips about hospitality that seem like everyone would just automatically know. But if you're not told, you don't know what you don't know. And so begin by looking at your front porch area. And when you want to prepare for guests, sweep your front porch, plant some pretty flowers in a pot, and put a nice wreath on the front door. These things speak to your neighbors. It speaks, I care about my home and I care about the atmosphere that I am contributing to in the neighborhood. I'm contributing to the neighborhood being more beautiful because I'm actually caring about what the front of my house looks like. So keep your weeds pulled and keep some flowers planted and make the outside of your home look lovely. And then when guests come, they feel welcome because the front door area looks taken care of and prepared. And then I always start cleaning my house from the front door, and I'm always sure that the front entryway is free from backpacks and shoes, and I always sweep that as well. And I know you, Jan, you always spray your room spray so that when people come in, they walk
I
into
do.
something fragrant, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So
It's
that's so important. And
it's just kind of inviting,
it is.
it's inviting.
It is. It's inviting. So the little things are the big things, and the guests give me the incentive to do something that needs to be done anyway. But I like having the incentive to do it when guests are coming over. And then again, I said it once before. I'll say it again. Greet them at the front door. This is another thing to add to your hospitality checklist. Walk them out to their car when they're leaving. Tell them goodbye at the door, and if the weather is good, walk them to their car. Walk them all the way
Yeah.
out, or at least
Yeah.
stand at the door and wave to them as they leave. But don't just shut the door right behind them. Don't let the door hit you on the way out type of thing. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want to just let them know, okay, thank you for coming, and waving goodbye as they leave so that it's not like we're really pushing them out the door. A lot of people don't realize this. Now, this is something that I'm encouraging you to do for your guests, but do it for each other too.
Yeah.
Do it for each other. Stop what you're doing and greet your family at the door. Stop what you're doing. Say hello. Stop what you're doing. Say goodbye. Give your kids and your spouse a hug and a kiss goodbye. Again, the little things are the big things. Don't ever just walk out the door without saying goodbye. And don't ever just
Exactly.
come in the door without saying hello. Now, if you come in the door and there's no one there to greet you at the door, find them and say, "Hi, I'm home." Or in my case, I'll whistle and everyone will know that I'm home. But whatever you need to do do what it takes to take the extra step. We call it the also principle in the home experience curriculum. And don't just greet them. Don't just say hello, but say hello and goodbye. And the also principle is stop what you're doing, engage in a hug or a handshake at the very least, or a little bit of a how was your day, or have a great day, something. So there's a little bit of verbal interaction as well. But these little things become the big things that create the stability in a home environment.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing, Trina, as crazy as our world is getting, you never know when it's going to be the last time you tell them goodbye.
That's right. That's right.
You never know if they're going to come back to your home. You never know what they are leaving your home to go into, especially if it's a friend, maybe a neighbor, maybe it's a coworker. You don't know what they're walking back into their home with. And so to give them an atmosphere that is safe, that is loved, that they know that they can come at any time, But for them to leave knowing that they left feeling loved and accepted, if that's the last time that you ever see it, thank God they felt that in your home.
That's right. The last time my mom was in my home was Christmas Eve. And I was at her house Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve was the last time that they were in our home. And so as they were getting ready to leave, she was sick with cancer and really weak that night and in quite a bit of pain, but she dressed up and showed up. And so we all had a lovely Christmas Eve together, opening gifts and music and games and fun and big dinner and meal around the table and conversation at the table. And that's when she shared with the children and the grandchildren and her great grandchildren that she was not getting better, and that she was transitioning into a new season of life, and she just didn't know how long her life was going to last, but her days were limited. And so she shared this news at the table with our family. And as we were leaving, as she was leaving and I was telling them goodbye, one of my grandchildren came over to her and said, "Mimi, I just want to have a hug and tell you goodbye." And I happened to be standing there with my phone, and I was able to snap a picture real quick. And I snapped this picture of my mom and Landon just holding each other. And I think my mom knew it might be the last time that she would see
Wow.
him. He did not know that it would be the last time he would see her, but I think he thought it might be because of what she had said. But she
Yeah.
said, "I'll see you again. We all live in the same town, so I'm sure I'll see you again." She said that. But he didn't take that for granted. And
No.
so I've had other family members say, "Oh, we were in a hurry to leave and I didn't even specifically say, 'Oh, Mimi, let me give you one last hug.'" Just with assuming that they would see her again, and as it turned out, they didn't. But, he had that, as you said, that presence of mind. He was so present in that moment that he
Yeah.
walked over with this intentionality. And so with their embrace, and I got this picture, you could see tears were in my mom's eyes, and it was just a really, really beautiful moment. And you're so right. I think that this is something that we all need to keep in mind, that
That's right.
mortality is a real thing. And your parents have passed, my mom has now, and I've my grandparents. And so, but you just never know. But it doesn't matter the age. You never know what a day will hold. That is why
That's
we
right.
just cannot take each other for granted. And we cannot take for granted the opportunities. And we need to make the most of every opportunity. My mom's last words were, "Make every day special, not for you, but for your friends and family. Make every day
That's so
special."
good.
That's right. It is so good. And that's what we want to encourage people to do with the home experience curriculum and with the message of hospitality. And so we want to give people the tools and the encouragement. And I know that if you've never experienced it, you really don't even know what I'm talking about. In fact, it seems like something that would just be in a Hallmark movie, like Jen said, or in a magazine, or just pictures in, that you might see on Instagram or even in stock photo. But no,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is real life. We want to create real life moments that are that memorable.
It'll be an experience, and we just invite each and every one of you to connect, connect through the ways that you would currently connect with Trina, and you'll be able to get all of the updates of where to go and where you can follow along and find out where we're going to be holding some intensives. And we just encourage you to just kind of jump on this. How can we say it? I don't want to call it a
Well,
train, but
yeah.
I'm going to use what a very good friend of mine said. We're going to be riding the rapids. Right,
That's
Trina?
right. That's right. Come along for the ride. That's really what I felt like. We're just kind of going to hold on for this really fun adventure. And it's going very rapidly. So, yes, people know how to contact me through Facebook and Instagram. And so continue to stay in touch with me. And I will continue to keep the word out as we are I'm not going to tell people our new website yet because it's still in the development stage, but within the next few weeks, we are going to march forward in March. March 8th, I believe it is International Women's Day. And so we are going to march forth with Home Experience Global. And that's what March is going to be all about, is really marching forth and launching into a new season of Home Experience and a new opportunity for us to grow and expand what has been happening already. So thank you, Jan, for your commitment to this cause, because it is a cause. It is a cause. We have an agenda. The agenda is to impact the world one home at a time, one family at a time. And so this is what we are doing. This is how we are doing it. And it spreads because when we invite people into our home and then we show them how to invite people into their home, it just spreads like wildfire. And we are on a mission to continue doing this, because we can see the impact that it's had on our own lives, and we want to continue to encourage others to do the same. So a few more practical tips before we finish the broadcast today. And I'm excited because I am putting away my Valentine's decorations, because I have hearts up the whole month of February, and it's fun for me. I love, and I love theme and seasonal decorating. So the hearts are going to be put away today and tomorrow, and then out with all of the spring decorations and the spring arrangements and the spring tablescapes. And so I just want to encourage you ladies to find the vases that are empty around your house. Take some scissors and go out to your yard and cut on your shrubs and your bushes and your trees, and bring some greens inside. Okay, fill that vase with water, bring some greens inside. Then you can pick up just a small $5, $10 arrangement could be wherever you grocery shop, an arrangement of daisies, and make yourself a pretty springtime centerpiece. And it's just going to delight you and delight your family. And it does not have to be expensive. In fact, with greens and just one bunch of flowers, you might be able to make 4 or 5 arrangements to decorate the main part of your house. So I encourage you to do that. And Jan, do you have any other tips for them to bring spring into their home this week?
Yes. So this is really fun. If you have a Trader Joe's that's around you, you can get the most beautiful flowers for less than $5. But if not, you know what? Just shake some stuff out and bring bright colors into your home with it, however you want to do it, and just enjoy. And I love the greenery. Of course, where I'm at, everything's dry right now because I'm not in the Dallas Metroplex area, and everything is dry. So mine would look like fall. So I couldn't do that, Trina. But you know what? I know where I could go and get some free greenery. And that's what I'm going to do today.
And I always keep my eyes out for some weeds, or, even in other places, friends' yards that might have some evergreen things. But anyway, we do have a Trader Joe's. So thank you for that helpful hint. Thank you for being with us today on the Her Show, Jan. And you will hear Jan and I in the future on the Home Experience podcast together. So God bless you today. I'm Trina, signing off from JoCo Community Radio. Hugs and high fives. God bless you.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airline.